Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be bringing you my Becca's BookopolAthon 48-hour readathon, I think. Becca from Becca and the Books is doing a 48-hour readathon based on her monthly TBR game, Bookopoly. The general idea is that every 12 hours she's going to do 2 rolls, and then you read 1 or 2 books based on 1 or both of the prompts, and you have 48 hours. There's more to it, and she does a better job explaining it, so I'll link her video below because I think she's planning on trying to do more of these in the future. But you know, this is what I'm doing. Quick updates on my life. I haven't read anything. I've just been in a bit of a reading slump. I just really haven't felt inspired to grab anything. I started the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, but I did misread when that was due back at the library, and so they took it away and I was only on chapter 2, and I was like, oh, I thought I had like another 10 days, and it's like, no, you didn't. You only had that for a week. And I was like, oh, whoopsie. So it's just been fun, weird, I don't know. It just has been what it has been, and we are going to move on. So I am really excited about this readathon because my goal is to read 4 books. Will I accomplish that? That is yet to be seen. So I live in Los Angeles, California, so the readathon starts at 4 p.m. my time this afternoon in a couple of hours. I don't know if I'm going to be able to start immediately at that time. It's going to depend on what I'm working on and stuff. So there were 2 prompts, and so I picked 1 book already. So the 2 prompts were a chance card and a paranormal. I don't typically read those, but I thought, you know what, this would be a good chance to try. And also, I'm sure I could find one that's short. And I did. It was great. So I went to Goodreads and was just kind of like picking random ones that I thought sounded kind of interesting, and then I went and found the one that was the shortest out of those ones. And the book I ended up choosing was A Whisper in the Dark by Jessi, Elliot, and KJ Sutton. Honestly, I don't know much about it. It's about a princess vampire who is exiled or cast out. I'm not really sure, but it's only like 92 pages, so win. There was a chance card as well, and now the chance card is basically an even mix of books you're excited about and books you're not as excited about. So I chose 4. And I'm gonna show these. Here they are. These 2 little guys are the 2 that I'm most excited about. These 2 I am not, and so it's like, if I get one I'm not excited about, not only do I have to read a book I'm not super excited about, it is like 3 times the length of the 2 that I am excited about. It's fine, it is what it is. So the books I'll start with the books I am excited about. So I have A Little Light Mischief by Sebastian. I don't know much about it, I just know that it is a historical romance that is female-female, and that it is sort of a one of them helps the other one kind of come out of their shell in a sense. It is also incredibly short. It's 107 pages, so I hope I get this one. The other one I have that I am hesitantly excited about is Hightown, which is by Mary Kirby, and it is a companion novel to the Dragon Age video game series. Varric Tethras, who is the author, is an in-universe dwarven author who wrote this book in-universe, and they have created a kind of companion book that is a little bit extended, and it tells the story of city guards in Kirkwall, which is where the 2nd game takes place. And I think it's just gonna be like a fun little like Easter egg thing that I've had for a while, and I've just never actually read it, so I'm kind of excited about it. On to the books I'm not as excited about. The first one is Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. I read the first book in the series earlier this year, and it was Daughter of the Pirate King, and I did not enjoy it. Firstly, it like was not a book for me. I am writing my own pirate adventure novel, and so it's really hard for me to suspend my disbelief on certain things. It's fine, that's just she was just making a fun story, whatever. But the biggest reason I didn't like it is that I didn't really like the main character, Alosa. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, super sorry. She was kind of written as constantly talking about how clever she is, how smart she is, how good she is at everything that she touches, and she's trained for so many years, and it's like, well, she is only 17, and it felt, and like, I'm not necessarily against the idea that a 17-year-old couldn't be good at all these things, but it is the idea of, we didn't really get a lot of demonstration of her wit or cunning or skills in a lot of sense. And the few times we got like a hint of it, it didn't feel like it was overly clever, that nobody else would have thought of that. And so to me, it just felt a lot like the author telling me how great and cool this character is, instead of just showing us a little bit more. I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy it. But I have the sequel and I kind of want to read it so I can likely unhaul these, so yeah, whatever. And then the other book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, I don't know, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this book. I know a lot of people really liked it, a lot of people did not. I just really don't love contemporary romance stories. I don't know, there's just something about how much suspension of disbelief I have to do for a contemporary romance, because a lot of the times for me, characters tend to not act like human beings, if that makes sense, where it just feels so much like they are forced to play this part, and so it's just sometimes hard for me to buy into a lot of the story. But you know, that's my own cross to bear, and it's fine. I think my thing is I like the idea of the story. Like, I like the general idea of the plot of the story. And I am excited about, and I do believe it is a sort of coming out story as well, which I do like, especially with slightly older main characters, which I don't exactly know how old they are, but I don't think they're super old, but I think they're older than teenage. I don't know. So yeah, this is one that I'm not super excited about, but it's gonna be in my chance cards because I honestly don't know when I would read it if it's not a chance card. Now that you know my chance books, let me tell you my kind of plans. My main goal is to read 4 books, right? I don't expect I'm going to be able to read one book for each prompt, but I would like to try to read 1 book for each role, if that makes sense. But to be honest, who knows? I could start reading these books tonight and be like, I am not feeling it at all, and no one will ever see this vlog at all. I hope that doesn't happen. But I mean, there's quite a few hours between now and when it starts, / when I'll be able to start reading, so we'll see. So, I'm gonna pull my first chance card. I feel like it will be more helpful to pull it down and sort of prepare myself for what I might have to actually read. Ooh, Heart in Hightown, which is great because I can probably read both of these tonight. That's awesome. Yay! I guess I could try to show it and see if it ever focuses. There it goes. So that is exciting. I'm like, ooh, this is so cool. Like, this book also comes with like some really pretty artwork. I'm like super excited to read this book. I've been kind of missing Dragon Age because I have been playing the Assassin's Creed franchise, so it'll be really fun to get back into this world a little bit. Okay, so those are my reading plans for tonight. I'll likely do some vlogging in a bit, but I just kind of wanted to get this set up a little bit, so when I do have a chance to start, I can start. Wish me luck, everybody. Okay, so updates. It is a little before 8 o'clock at night on Friday, which is part of the readathon for me in Los Angeles, and I officially finished my first book, Hard in Hightown. This was just such a fun little book to read. It was like 70 pages. It went by super quick. I loved all the characters that I know and love were in there, even though they were called by different names. I knew who they were instantly. I was like, that's the love of my life. Fenris, love him. I think there was Anders and Isabella, and Meryl was even there, and it was just such a great fun book. Like, what it was basically we follow this guardsman who was on patrol, who stumbles upon a murder, and so he's trying to solve it, and kind of gets wrapped up in this weird conspiracy, and it was just a really fun, entertaining book to read. I really enjoyed it. I loved the mystery aspect of it, and it was exactly what I wanted. It was exactly what I think Varric would have written. It was just super fun. So that being said, I still have one more book I'm going to try to read yet tonight. Unfortunately, I do have a bit of a headache, and so reading on my screen might be difficult, but we'll see. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, probably have some sort of snack since I already ate dinner, and then maybe try to read a little bit, like kind of read in shifts, or I mean, if my head still is hurting in a little while, I'll just not read this book right now. But yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good about where I'm sitting. Like I said, I want to read 4 books this week, or this weekend, so I am well on my way to that goal. So it's just after midnight on Saturday morning now, and I have officially finished the other book that I was supposed to read. A Whisper from the Dark. A Whisper in the Dark. A Whisper in the Dark. That's what I just finished. I don't know. Like, I think I liked most of it. I liked the kind of differences in the vampire lore. I liked the idea of the awakening and the different eye colors signaling what you become. That was pretty interesting. I liked Charlie. I like Charlie. I think she's a really cool character. It did lose me like right at the end, and I know that I am in the minority here because it's just not my jam. But I don't know, I don't really love a lot of enemies to lovers storyline. Oh, by the way, ignore this. I have a bit of a headache. It's not a migraine, thank goodness. I think it's just a neck ache, stress, tension headache. So I've been using my heating pad as I read my short little book. But where was I? Friends, enemies to lovers, that's right. I don't totally love like enemies to lovers the enemies to lovers trope, because a lot of the times I feel like they skip the middle step of like you can be enemies and have sex with someone, that's fine, but if you want me to believe that they're in love, you have to do the step in between where like you have to show me that they like each other, and that they're not just antagonistic, because like being antagonistic towards someone just to sleep with them is fine, but that doesn't make for a love story for me personally, for me at least. So I don't know, will I read the next one? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I am pretty tired though, but I feel very good that I read both books, so at the very least I will be half done. I am half done with the goal that I set for myself, which is great. So I'm going to go to sleep, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to figure out what are my 2 options to read for the next set of prompts. So it is about 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, and I just checked the new roles for BookopolAthon, and the 2 prompts were to read a book that is culturally diverse and then read a viewer recommendation. But my thoughts right now are that I might read an Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. So that would be culturally diverse, and Jessi from Books and Bowties, this was part of their Black LGBTQIA recommendations. But then I also have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang that I need to finish, and I've got like 7 hours left of that to finish. And that could be my culturally diverse book. So here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna start doing. Is I'm going to focus on reading An Unkindness of Ghosts, because that is due in 2 days. And then I'm going to focus on listening to The Poppy War. And when the next rolls come in at 4 o'clock, if I have an adult fantasy or something like that, then maybe I'll swap Poppy War for that prompt. Point is, I'm going to start reading An Unkindness of Ghosts. That's going to be my first book today. It's probably going to be a slower read just because it is on my phone. Paperback is 351 pages. Okay. That means I have a lot of reading to get done before 4 p.m. Wish I wasn't so tired. But here we are. Good morning. Oh, we are just going to see how this plays out, everyone. So some updates. I'm realizing I'm basically doing this entire vlog from my bed because that tends to be where I update, as I'm not filming myself reading because I'm reading on my phone and I don't find it, and I just worry that it's like not interesting just to watch me stare at my phone. If I'm hoping to read like an actual, like, you know, physical copy book for one of the next 2 prompts, you know, fingers crossed. But I ended up doing some cleaning. I cleaned up my apartment and did some stuff like that, and I ended up getting through like 2 hours of The Poppy Wars. So I'm down to the last 6 hours or so, which would be great if I could finish that this weekend also. And I got through the first part of An Unkindness of Ghosts. I am really enjoying this book, actually. Like, it's like I can 1000% see the, like, it's so interesting. I'm really enjoying this book. I really like Aster, like, I'm really enjoying this book. Like, I think I like sci-fi and fantasy books where they don't spend so much time detailing the world. You're just kind of thrown in, but there's something that's kind of not triggered, but like sparked the plot, and so you're starting, like, you learn certain things. Like in this book, like, we start and Esther is about to perform an amputation on this kid, and you kind of, throughout this exchange with this kid and Esther, you kind of start understanding, like, oh, okay, like they're living in this like spaceship, and the heat's been turned off, and everybody is separated by classes and floor levels, and it's very, very interesting. I am excited to see where this continues to go. So, you know, we'll see. It is already 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I don't think I'm going to finish this by 4 p.m., which is when the next prompts drop, but maybe I'll be able to read some shorter books at that point. It is a little after 4 p.m. on Saturday, and the 5th and 6th prompts just dropped, and they were to read a mystery or thriller, or to read a gifted or borrowed book. Now, I feel incredibly torn because I don't have any books that I borrowed from the library that are mystery thrillers, and I also kind of want to read a book that's a physical copy because I do feel myself getting a headache. And also, I have almost fallen asleep like 3 times today reading this book, and I'm absolutely loving that book, but there's something about reading on a screen or like reading on my phone that just makes me immediately want to just go back to sleep. I don't know what it is. So I had some thoughts for the next prompts. I think it's time to just admit defeat in the fact of I can't possibly read 8 books, I don't think. I haven't even finished 4 and it's already the halfway point. So my initial thought is to read A Pocketful of Rye by Agatha Christie, which is my roommate's. I'm gonna borrow it. She doesn't know, but she doesn't know yet, but it's out in our living room, so it's okay. Obviously this is a mystery. It's by Agatha Christie. And also this one's relatively short. It's like 180, it's like 185 pages, but like it is a rather small font, but it might be nice to read through that. So here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a break from reading on my phone and I'm gonna start A Pocketful of Rye. Because if I can read this one, then I do hit both prompts and that would be awesome. And then I will have to wait and see what tomorrow brings for the next prompt. It's 9:45 on Sunday morning. I just got back from getting groceries and eating some breakfast. And I'm not totally ready to read yet, but I also did not read much else last night. I am really behind from where I want to be. And I don't know how this is gonna work out. I've been super enjoying this readathon, and I probably would have stayed up last night if I hadn't been just so utterly sleep deprived for the last couple of days. I just have not been able to sleep. I've not been able to sleep very well. And so last night at like 10 o'clock, I just had to try to get some sleep. I didn't sleep soundly, but I slept for quite a few hours, so I'm gonna try to count that as some sort of a win. I'm down to like the last 100+ pages of An Unkindness of Ghosts, and I'm so enjoying this book. Like, it's one of the best things I've read this year, I think. The story is really interesting. The characters are all so fascinating. I like how everything's sort of connected, but not really, and I'm really excited to see where things are going. For A Pocketful of Rye, the Agatha Christie mystery I'm reading, I'm like 40 pages into that book, so we'll see. Yeah, so I'm just not really sure. I'm not really sure how today is going to shake out, but the final 2, or the prompts 7 and 8, the 7th and 8th roll dropped. How am I trying to word this? For how much I rested yesterday, I should have more of a sense of what's going on, but I feel just totally out of it still. The 7th and 8th prompts dropped for the BookopolAthon, and they were to read a contemporary or romance and then a YA fantasy. But I might read this little novella, A Little Light Mischief, which is a romance and it is very thin. It's like 100 and it's only 107 pages, so I feel like I could definitely finish this one. So I think I'm going to read this for my romance, the contemporary or romance prompt. But I am going to read A Little Light Mischief, and then I'm going to finish An Unkindness of Ghosts, and then I'm going to try to get as far along as I can on A Pocketful of Rye. And it's going to be my goal for this afternoon. I've also got some cleaning and stuff to do, but I'm going to be listening to the Poppy War. It is going to be a very book-filled day, which is good, also tiring. So we'll see where I get. Oh man, I'm looking a little bit of a hot mess, but whatever, don't worry about it. But good news is I did officially finish A Little Light Mischief, right? A Little Light Mischief by Sebastian. And this was for the contemporary or romance prompt. So this is officially book number 3 that I finished. It was really cute. It was a love story between 2 women who, one used to be like a thief and one used to grow up in a vicarage, which feels like crazy destiny that they found each other. But it was really cute. My biggest problem when there's little like novellas like this is they tend to always have super interesting characters, and I always want more of the characters themselves. Their love story basically takes place over a weekend, which, I mean, it's like 100 pages long, so I get why it has to be short. But they just always tend to cram so much in, and I always wish that there was just like a little bit more, because it tends to be that the most interesting characters go into the novellas, and I always want more. I don't know exactly what I would rate this. When I think about it, to be honest, my brain's a little bit mush. But you know, I feel good about my progress. It's a little before 11:45, so like I still have plenty of time to finish another book. I think I'm going to focus my attention on An Unkindness of Ghosts and work at reading that book first. That is due tomorrow at the library, so at the very least I need to finish it by tomorrow because it's got to go back, and I would hate to not finish this book and then have to wait weeks to get it again. Yeah, so I think I'm going to read a little bit of that right now, and then I'll probably break and have some lunch, and then keep reading, and then figure out my plans with Pocketful of Rye. We'll see. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good. It is 2:30 my time. Becca's gonna go live in any minute, and I am so close to finishing An Unkindness of Ghosts. I really am loving this story. It's so good, and I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous that it's not gonna work out, and I need it to work out. Aster needs to have a happy ending or I will lose my mind. I can't. I just... I'm really loving this book. I'm so sad that it's... I'm just very nervous about it. I'm just very nervous that it's not gonna be... We're so close to the end. We're so close to the end, and they've all fought so hard that if they don't win, I'm gonna be so upset. I need them to get a happy ending. Like, I need this all to have worked out. I hope so. So I did finish An Unkindness of Ghosts. Whoa, that book was so good. Like, I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Like, it did my favorite thing, which took like a world that I don't know. It was set on a spaceship called Matilda, and it's been in space for 300 years, and there's a lot of like religious, I would say, undertones, but they were very, very explicit in the way that the ship was run, and there was so many different like cultural aspects in the way that each of the different levels and floors were run, and it was so good. Everything was so good. Like, oh, I am just like so overwhelmed with how good this book was. Wow. But that does mean I've officially completed my 4 books that I needed to. I am gonna probably take a break for the last hour of this readathon and just listen to the live stream and just sort of chill, get my thoughts in order, and then come back and wrap up this vlog. But that book was so good. I can't get over how good that book was. But yeah, it was good, and I promise I'll come to you from a different angle when I have my thoughts in order. Okay, I should have done a little bit more with my appearance, but So this is the end of my vlog for Becca's BookopolAthon, the 48-hour readathon. I thought I would do a little bit of a, sorry, the sunlight is a little bit washing me out. Whatever, it's the end of 48 hours. I'm not gonna worry about it. So I thought I would do a little sort of wrap up of what I read, the prompts I filled, things like that. So there were 8 total prompts that you could read for. There's only 2 prompts that I didn't read anything for. So the first prompt was a paranormal or magical realism. I read A Whisper in the Dark by Jessi, Elliot, and KJ Sutton. It was a sort of paranormal romance that dealt with vampires and in this world where basically there was a king who was a vampire who ruled the entire world, or this particular area of the world, and has created different like classes for different vampires based on their eye color. That was pretty interesting. The character herself was pretty interesting. I honestly don't remember her name though. How interesting could she have been then? Charlie. Her name was Charlie. I remembered, I got there. I liked Charlie. I thought she was kind of cool. I liked the setup of the world itself. I don't know if I like it enough to read the sequel, to be honest. Maybe if there's another readathon I will, because it was a pretty quick, fun read. To me, it was just kind of like, it was just like middle of the board. It was fine. The next prompt was to read a chance card, and I ended up choosing Hard in Hightown by Mary Kirby. This is a tie-in novel to the Dragon Age video game series. It was kind of a detective-ish crime-solving drama, drama. It was pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. I liked it. It was good. It was a good time. The next prompt was to read a book that was culturally diverse, and I ended up reading An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. This was a sci-fi futuristic story that's set in space. It's set specifically on a spaceship called the Matilda, where people have lived for over 300 years at this point, and they keep talking about how they're promised to go to the promised land type of thing. They've started having all these blackouts and stuff, and no one can really know what's going on. There's a whole regime change on board, and there's a whole enslavement of the lower classes, and the division in classes is racially motivated. But it was so good. I absolutely loved this book. I think it's gonna end up being a 5-star read once I have time to process it a little bit more. It was just so good. And it was also my book to read for prompt 4, which is a viewer recommendation. I ended up learning about this book thanks to Jessi from Bowties and Books when they put together a book rec list for the Queer Blackathon. I was not able to participate because all the books I wanted to read I had to rent from the library, and I didn't get them all in time, but this was one I did get in time for this readathon, and I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy they talked about this book. I'm so excited. This book was just so good. The next prompt was to read a book that was gifted. Becca said this could also be considered a book that is borrowed or not your own, so again I decided An Unkindness of Ghosts was going to count for this prompt as well. The next prompt was a mystery or thriller, and I started A Pocketful of Rye by Agatha Christie, but I only got 20 pages into it, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to continue this book next week. Find out on my next vlog, you guys. The next prompt was a young adult fantasy, which I did not read. I honestly didn't even know what book to choose here, and so I just chose nothing. I know that there's probably some that I would like to read. I just had nothing. It was towards the end of the readathon. I was at this point in the readathon, I was behind on 2 books, so I was like, I can't add any more. Let's just move on. And then the last prompt was to read a contemporary or a romance, and so I read A Little Light Mischief by Sebastian. This was a historical romance between 2 women. So this is a love story between Molly and Alice. Molly works as a lady's maid sort of thing to this woman. I can't remember her name. Oh my god, what is her name? She was featured a fair amount. we're just gonna call her the lady. Molly works at the lady's house. She also has a daughter that doesn't live with her. She lives at a different location. Alice was the vicar's daughter, and he cast her out when she was kind of assaulted when she was younger, and the lady takes Alice in as well, and Alice and Molly start a sort of quick flirtation, and then they work together to steal a cravat pin, and they fall in love over a weekend. I mean, pretty quick read. It was pretty cute, pretty enjoyable. I did wish it was a little bit longer, because I think the two characters, Molly and Alice, both have such interesting backstories that I would have liked to see that delved into a bit more. But for what it was worth, it was really enjoyable, and I did enjoy it, and I did like it. So that's it for this vlog, I guess. I hope you guys had fun participating in this readathon. I did, and I hope that Becca does another one of these, because it was really fun, and like the way that the prompts dropped kind of took some of the stress out of planning a TBR, because one of my biggest downfalls is I plan a TBR and then I read no books from it, because the time comes and I'm like, I'm not in the mood to read that. So, you know, it was nice not to have to plan something too far in advance. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about what I got through. I'm feeling good about my accomplishment. My goal at the start of the vlog was to read 4 books, and I did that. Thank you guys so much for watching my vlog. Like it if you got all the way to this point. Feel free to drop some comments below about what you read during this readathon. If you read any of the same books, let me know. That would be awesome to find out. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.